Our beautiful Golden State, California, has an estimated total population of 39,776,890, as stated by the 2018 World Population Review. Many researchers are speculating the population to exceed 40 million by 2019. Not only is it the most populous state in the country, we have the most unique quality of diversity. To get a better understanding of California's diversity, we must first look into the largest cities, such as Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco, that provide the most dense portions of the population. Out of the numerous cities with diverse populations in California, only a few of them stand out. First and arguably the most notable one is the city of Los Angeles, with a population of roughly 4 million people and the LA County holding the title for the nation's most populous county. The county alone has more residents than 42 of its fellow states. Following LA for the most populated cities are San Diego with about 1.5 million people, San Jose with 1 million people, and San Francisco with about 870,000 citizens. With regards to ethnic communities, San Francisco is found to be the most diverse city, while LA has advantageous traits like extremely attractive weather and a booming business center, all of which influence various groups of people into settling there, which leads to more influxes of people. Of course, all of these diverse communities did not originate from California, as some had to cross oceans and borders to take up stead in California. Their migration paths all vary, so let's take a deeper look into how and when these communities roughly got here.
The gold rush was one of the most significant events where California's population exploded by the thousands, with other countries coming to get a piece of the action. There are many groups present day, such as English Americans, Irish Americans, and French Americans, whose ancestors were the original 49ers during the gold rush. European settlers also took interest in California and have made their own mark on the state. For example, in 2000, California had more Bulgarian Americans, Romanian Americans, and Hungarian Americans than any other U.S. state. Los Angeles and San Francisco have large Russian American or Russian populations, as well as Ukrainian Americans, and a long history of English, Irish, Italian, German, and Polish communities established by immigrants in the late 19th century. Among the many different ethnicities we've discussed, the most substantial group that made their way into California are the Hispanics. These settlers migrated into mainly Southern California from our bordering country, Mexico, to the south. Southern California has the greatest mass of Mexicans alone, and many have carved their own path in this state to fight for fair and equal treatment and public education, among other sectors. While immigrants from around the world that built this state were important for California's increasing population, the national origin of the state did not go unnoticed.
Starting with the relative beginning, the American Indians were the first natives to inhabit the nowadays California and her beautiful lands. Their expert techniques would prove invaluable to adapting to a wild and untamed land. However, this would all change with the arrival of European colonization. After visits from roughly 200 years prior, Europe was ready to begin settling in this newfound land. Spain, in particular, began building alongside the coastline and birthed new settlements. The cities San Diego and LA, for example, were established in the late 18th century. Years later, on 1821, California becomes a province of the recent independent country of Mexico, and for a brief time, even its own separate country. That wouldn't last long, however, as with the aftermath of the Mexican-American War, California is turned over to the United States, and 2 years later, on September 9, 1850, California officially becomes the 31st state of the U.S. From here, California would experience gradual increases in prosperity and numerous fluctuations of migrations, allowing it to become the enormous state it is today. In conclusion, its massive population size allows it to consist of a unique population diversity and sits among the highest known on records. As previously mentioned, researchers are predicting the population size to increase to 40 million residents by next year, giving it more potential than all but 34 countries in the world. California has quite the reputation, no wonder it's found to be one of the most populous states in all of the nation.